Welcome to the world united. Welcome to the world united.
UDUMBARA GESU is an inner clarity expert, a mystic woman. She grew up in the presence of God intoxicated masters. She absorbed the sanctity of inner silence and absolute clarity from these elusive mystics of India. Later, she qualified in consciousness, did her psychotherapy and counseling, and since 1998, UG has been helping conscious women and men worldwide to go beyond redundant social pressures into total self trust. She helps you to cut away from emotional confusion and think bold, transcend personal suffering, and live authentically. So, all excited to hear from UDUMBARA GESU. Her topic is why women don't need to chase spirituality. An interesting topic. Over to you, UDUMBARA GESU. Could you turn on the video, please? Thank you. Could you turn on the video audio, please? Unmute. Yes.
Your specialty is women. So how can women become more spiritual these days? How can they awaken spiritually?
Let me give you a piece of news.
Yes.
Women don't need to be spiritual. Women don't need to get enlightened.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you explain that?
Yes. See, the thing is that spiritual enlightenment is for a God. You need to get closer to God. You are given a target that God is somewhere out there or somewhere in here. You are separated from God and you need to reunite with God to experience bliss, experience peace, experience actualization, all those things that we are missing here while living here. You know, life is really difficult. So whatever we can't get here, we think God has it. Mm. So getting there is the answer. But the God that we are talking about is a man-made construct. Yes, we have had mystics. We have had enlightened people who have told us about their personal experience of uniting with God or with the source. But still, the majority is looking for a spiritual enlightenment that is man-made. It's a man-made objective. It's not just human-made, it's also man-made. And it's made by a man because man intrinsically felt separated. And there had to be a goal to reunite. There's a longing. Even physiologically, a man has a longing constantly to reunite. In common words, we call it horniness.
Yes. Yes. Women don't have that.
Women have it, but physiologically, women are not that desperate. Mm. And it's a blessing. And there is a reason for it. The reason is that women are made very close to creators, to being a creatrix. We are the creatrix, right? Mm-hmm. Because our physiology is built in such a way that we give birth. Whether or not any one of us has chosen to give birth, that's a different matter. But we are capable of giving birth. Even if our giving birth apparatus is, for some of us, is not working. For some, it is working overtime. But the fact that we were given this capacity, that we are capable of giving birth, this already brings us very close to God, to the source, to the birth giver. We don't need to amp up our intuition. What is the New Age telling you? Amp up your intuition. We are brimming with intuition. Most of our life is about intuition. Most of our life is about being intuitive. It's only when we are off it, when we force ourselves to be off it, that's when trouble comes. But actually, we are intrinsically, basically intuitive. And we use it. We use it way more than men do. Otherwise, we wouldn't have survived. So we do use intuition. What is the prime example of intuition? Mothering. We know things about our children that they don't know, or we can save a child, we can save our own child or somebody else's child just in the brink of the moment, and we don't know where that information came from. So intuition is inbuilt in us. That's not what we need to amp up. Then the New Age movement is telling you to awaken your heart, the wisdom of your heart. That makes me laugh.
Okay.
Because women, we know how to love. The only job profile we fill perfectly. In fact, we know so much how to love and how to overflow with love that we are called too much. Sometimes even hormonal. Right?
We laughed at.
We are laughed at for these reasons. So we know how to love. Nobody has to teach us how to love. What we have to teach ourselves is how to love in a way that me, the person, is included in it. I, the woman, am included in me loving someone or something. That's all. But love we know. Testosterone doesn't know love. Right? I'm not saying men, because I know too many loving men to say that men don't know how to love. I know too many generous, beautiful, amazing, soul-oriented men to say something that blasphemous. I'm just
testosterone-ridden men are different.
Testosterone is a different story. That doesn't know how to love. That knows how to conquer. How to... it always goes towards conquering something or someone. It's always a control freak. It always wants something. It always wants to grab it, keep it under control, have it, not let it go out.
And this is where the disconnection is happening.
And so we have a history, a 2,000 year, at least a minimum of 2,000 years we can count. Of course, it's longer than that. We have a history of testosterone, waging wars, being heavily invested in violence, creating division, coming up with innovative ways of separation. And today, we see the collective insanity of the testosterone.
Worse than ever.
Worse than ever.
Yeah.
Some of our leaders are a joke.
Yes, to say the least. Yes. Absolutely.
And we voted for them. We brought them there. I'm not going to separate by saying I didn't, you did. But it's we. We did it.
What if women were in charge?
Let me tell you one thing. Maybe testosterone is not going to like it.
Bring it on.
The future belongs to women. I'm not just saying it. I'm not giving you a pep talk. This is probably my first and last prophecy. Those students who know me, they know that I don't do any predictions. But this is a prophecy that I do want to declare. The future belongs to women. Now the question is, what kind of women?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, future is a huge pool of consciousness. Future is a huge potential. Future is big. And in future are all these innocent beings called our children. All these innocent sentient beings called animals and inhabitants of earth and certain beings and other people. So future is a huge thing. It's really important looking at where the world is going today, looking at the collective insanity of today. It is important for women to understand and consider what kind of women are going to inherit the future. This doesn't mean that certain kind have to be put aside. This simply means all of us, all the women, are heading towards the future. But not all of us are prepared to handle it. That's the problem.
What is missing?
Instead of saying what is missing, let me tell you that women have been kept distracted for more than 3,000 years now. This whole process started 3,000 years ago, where the seed of sin was introduced into women. And women were introduced as the cause of that sin. We know this very well today, right? Then we were burnt, then we were mutilated, then we were raped, then we were destroyed. But most of all, we were constantly dismissed for our intelligence. That is the greatest wound we have. The burning, the mutilation, the rape, the disrespect, all of that is humiliation. We have those wounds, but the greatest wound that we still have and has still not been fulfilled, even in the most modern, educated, and powerful women holding big offices, is the dismissal of our intelligence, our intuitive, wise intelligence. So we have stayed distracted for 3,000 years trying to find God, trying to atone our sins, trying to become spiritually awakened, looking for enlightenment. While we are distracted, testosterone is waging war after war. While we are distracted, testosterone is taking over the world and turning it into an insane battlefield. But why are we distracted by this spirituality? That's not what we need. We need absolute clarity. Women need absolute clarity, not spiritual enlightenment. Absolute clarity is different from psychological clarity. It's the same difference that you will find between the sun and a light bulb in a room. You were born with a direct connection to a timeless, unconditional clarity within you. When you're connected to it fully, you don't need any babysitters and agents for your consciousness. You're absolutely clear in life.
Outwards.
But when we are born and the umbilical cord is cut and the way we are raised damages that awareness. Now you're not able to understand the language that life is speaking with you because the device is missing. We disconnect from this absolute clarity. And instead, we are trained to rely on the conditioned clarity, which is based on right and wrong, which is based on what is correct for a certain culture, certain religion, certain race, certain gender, but may not apply to anything else. Fortunately, we are heading towards Satyuga, but we can't directly go into the golden age. We are in a preparatory period. And in this preparatory period, women are rising. This is not about just taking over from men. This is about getting equipped first to perceive that world that's coming. Then you should have the capacity to hold it and make it tangible so it's available here. It's not like a vaccination drive. Not everybody can be put in one row and given a vaccine and say, now you are absolutely clear, let's run this world. There are only certain kind of women right now that will feel attracted to this work. Women who would like to rely more on their own clarity, more on themselves rather than outside on agents. Agents of God, agents of consciousness, agents of whatever. So women who are more drawn towards becoming their own resource and becoming their own validator, becoming their own approval center. I feel that a woman wakes up at 27, learns all throughout her 30s, and she begins to blossom by 40. She begins to blossom by 40. So my 40 is the new 16. Becoming the nuclear woman is to learn how to live a naturally ecstatic life. The kind of life that is built on self-trust. It's built on truth and it's built on courage. It gives you the ability to see through the fog. It gives you the power to outdo redundant paradigms and look at your own ecstatic life.
Thank you so much, Jesu. Clarity is power, and such a powerful talk that was for every woman all over the world. That clarity, and we don't need conscious babysitters. Such a beautiful, powerful message. Thank you so much. And there's a small token of appreciation from our side for such a wonderful being. The World Parliament on Spirituality 3 proudly presents UDUMBARA GESU for being an esteemed presenter in the 3rd edition of World Parliament on Spirituality 2020 Asia. Thank you so much for giving us such wonderful clarity.